So first on the bottom of this tier we have the P2020. P2020 got out damaged by the flatline, which is a full auto gun. Meanwhile, the P2020 is a single fire pistol. Yeah, the E tier should be enough for it. Up next in on the E tier is the double tap scout, which is really bad to be honest. The scout is a mid-range gun, and the scout has really bad hip fire accuracy, so it wouldn't be that good for close range. It's just good for mid range, and the double tap trigger increases the recoil of the scout, so it would be less accurate for mid range. So yeah, it's just horrible. It just kills the purpose of the scout. Next is on the D tier we have the P2020 with hammer point. Now the P2020 with hammer point is somewhat decent, but on mobile devices you can't like press the fire button fast enough because it's single fire to kill the enemy, and you're just gonna get outgunned by other guns in the game. now we move Now we move on to the C tier. On the bottom of C tier we have the Mozambique. The Mozambique is decent enough. It can deal 45 damage if you hit all the pellets onto the enemy's body, and it has 5 shots per mag. Plus, if you have the purple bolt for it, it will shoot faster than when octane stim. Next is we have the RE45 with and without quick draw, because it's almost the same. It can deal some damage, but it doesn't deal enough damage to outgun almost any other gun in the game. Next we have the Havoc and Devotion without turbocharger. Now these guns are without turbocharger are very bad because this tier list is for people who are new to the game. Like, so they won't be able to utilize these guns very well. You will need to pre-fire these guns without turbocharger for it to become effective. Like, although for early gunfights it can be quite lethal. Now, up next on the top of C tier we have the Sentinel. The Sentinel is a bolt-action sniper rifle that cannot one-shot players without it being charged. Although if you charge it, you can one-tap people on the head that has Evo Shield up to level 2. But to charge it you will need 2 shield cells, which can be quite important, and if you charge 2 shield cells on the Sentinel, it can be quite a waste. Now on the bottom of B tier we have the Mozambique with hammer point. Now with hammer point, the Mozambique can deal a lot of damage to cracked players, and most of the time it can easily one-shot cracked players. It's decent, but finding the hammer point isn't that easy, so I'll give it a B. Now after the Mozambique with hammer point, we have the Alternator. It just doesn't deal enough damage for it to be higher on this list. It's good enough off drop, like early game, but for it to be used to mid game and late game is kinda bad. You'll just get outgunned by a lot of other guns in the game. Then there's the G7 Scout. The G7 Scout is a gun that's good for mid-range gunfights, but it has horrible hipfires, so you can only use it for mid-range. You can pair it with a shotgun to fill your secondary weapon, so you can actually kill someone close range when you use a scout, but not everybody likes shotguns. Now up next is the longbow with and without skull piercing. The longbow is like a slower firing but harder hitting scout, and you can attach a sniper scope onto it. I would say the longbow is better than the scout because of the sniper scope, but sometimes the scout's faster firing rate can kill someone faster, so I would say it's a tie between these two guns. Now on top of B tier we have the Wingman with and without skull piercer, because hitting headshots isn't that easy. Now why did I put the Wingman, arguably the best gun in the game, one of the best guns in the game, in B tier? Because this tier list is for new players. Wingman needs a high accuracy for it to be good, so newer players might want to practice with it first for them to be good with the gun. Although if we're in a video with just normal tier list, this Wingman would be S. Now let's move to A tier. On the bottom of A tier we have the Mastiff. The Mastiff is a great shotgun. This Mastiff, the one in the mobile, is the one which makes Apex on PC got named Mastiff Legends on Season 7 and a while for Season 8. It hits very hard, and it's quite easy to come across, and it doesn't need any shotgun bolts for it to be good. But the Mastiff has a slow fire rate which punishes the player if the players miss, so I won't put it higher on the list because it's not that much of a noob-friendly gun, but it's still easier to use than the Wingman for newer players. Up next, we have the Prowler without select fire to make it full auto. Now, not a lot of people really like burst fires on their guns, so that's why I don't put this gun higher despite its ability to 3-burst someone with a red Evo shield. Then, after this Prowler, we have the Hemlock. The reasoning why I put the Hemlock on A is because it's burst fire as well. Although it's more versatile than the Prowler, so I'm ranking it higher than Prowler. Up next is the R99. This gun should be S tier on other tier lists, but it has somewhat of a high recoil and it requires to hit your shots, like most of your shots, because it only deals 11 damage per bullet. But it's full auto, so it's easier to learn that the Wingman. Personally, this is my favorite gun in the game, so it saddens me to put it on A tier only. Now, after the R99, we have the EVA 8. Now, the EVA 8 is really easy to use because it's semi-auto. It also shoots very fast and deals 63 damage, which in 2 shots can crack any player with any armor, and it's also very easy to come across. It also has a square crosshair, which is a really great crosshair to be honest. But the 63 damage isn't like every shot. You need to hit somewhat up close to really get 63 damage, but it's quite consistent on that 63 damage. Now, after the EVA 8, we have the double tap EVA 8. The double tap makes the EVA 8 more OP than it already is. The EVA double tap can deal way more damage than the regular EVA 8 on a short time. If you get it, just use it. It's going to win you a lot of games. But the reason I put it in A tier is because not everybody likes shotguns. But if you like shotguns, then use it. It's really good. It's really great. Now, on the top of S tier, we have the turbocharged Havoc and the turbocharged Devotion. Now, these two guns, well, they have the fastest time to kill in the game. Well, the turbocharged Devotion has the fastest time to kill in the game. Meanwhile, the turbocharged Havoc is, well, just behind a little bit. These guns just kills people almost instantly, and well, the turbocharged Devotion is also an LMG, so you have a lot of bullets in that mag. But if you don't like LMGs because you think they are too heavy and make you slow, you can use the turbocharged Havoc. But the issue with these guns that they need the turbocharger to do God's work, and the turbocharger is very rare. So that's why I put it on A instead of S, because they need a turbocharger, and it's a gold hop-up, so it's really rare. Now on the bottom of S tier, we have the triple take. The triple take is a very versatile sniper. It's really good close range because its hipfire is great. It's also really great long range and mid range because it can equip a sniper scope. And the special thing about the triple take is that it has a slow effect whenever you hit someone with it. Like if you hit someone with triple take, then they get slowed and you can beam them with something like the R99, R301, something like that. Now, after the triple take, we have the Volt. The Volt, it has low recoil, it has high damage for an SMG, it has fast firing rate, it has a really good hipfire spread as well. And in Apex Mobile, there seems to be no energy ammo issue unlike the PC version of the game, because you seem to run into a lot of energy ammo on Apex Mobile. It's really good for new players and it's a lot of fun to use. Up next is the Flatline. Now, the Flatline has the highest damage per bullet of any full auto gun in the game. Well, currently. And it has a decent hipfire spread and a really great rate of fire. It also has a gigantic mag size, so you can keep on spamming the bullets. The only downside to this gun is that it has somewhat high recoil, so new players won't have a easy time to on with this gun, but I don't think it's that hard to learn to control this gun's recoil. After that, there's the full auto prowler. The flatline might have the highest damage per bullet of any full auto gun in the game, but the full auto prowler has the fastest time to kill of any full auto gun in the game, well, except for besides the turbocharged havoc and devotion. It also has a really big max size, so you can spam it like the flatline. Its hipfire spread is also very tight, so you'll able to use its hipfire like a charm. It has somewhat of a high recoil, but it's an SMG, so you won't really use it for further ranges anyway, so yeah. Then there's the L-Star. The L-Star is a very versatile gun. It can melt people up close, it can equip barrels to make it usable mid-range. You can also make it so you won't have to ever reload with the L-Star. You just need to time it right before the gun overheats, so you just need to wait like 1 second for it to cool down, and you can keep on shooting people. After the L-Star, we have the charged rifle. Now, the charged rifle, it is a hit-scan sniper rifle that shoots lasers and deals a lot of damage. You just need to aim at someone and then it will shoot a straight beam on that person with no recoil and no bullet drop. It's a really great gun if you want to rat and evolve your Evo shields. Just make sure to get a lot of sniper ammo on your backpack because the charged rifle take 2 bullets per shot. On the top of S tier and on the top of this tier list, we have the R301, which to be honest is probably no big surprise. This gun has a fast time to kill, it has no recoil, you can attach a close range scope like the Hitchcock 1x, or you can use a mid range scope on it like the 2x Cruiser or the 4x variable scope on it. It's just the most versatile gun in the game, and it also has the most common ammo type in the game, which is the light ammo. The only reason to not use it is that if you have mastered the flatline, because it kills faster than the R301, but you can still use it because it's just so good. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this tier list is helpful for you.